Hello and welcome to my UEFA Champions League Round of 16 second leg predictions. So in last week's Champions League games I got 2 scores correct out of the 4 games, which isn't that bad going. It's pretty good going actually for me. So let's see if we can continue that good form with this week's Champions League fixtures. And we start on Tuesday night with the match between Liverpool and Bayern Munich from Anfield. This one's live on BT Sport 2 with an 8 PM kickoff. Now Liverpool got back to winning ways after their 2 draws against West Ham and Leicester by beating Bournemouth 3-0 a week on Saturday in the league. Whereas Bayern came back from being 2-1 down in their last match against Augsburg at the weekend to win 3-2. On their way to this stage in the competition, Liverpool finished second in their group by beating Napoli 1-0 on the final match day. Despite losing once against each of the 3 teams in their group, they lost to Paris Saint-Germain, Red Star Belgrade and Napoli once. Bayern, on the other hand, qualified top of their group, only dropping points against Ajax in the 2 games that they played against them. They drew both matches. Liverpool have won 3 of their last 5 matches, drawing the other 2, as I said, against West Ham and Leicester. Bayern have won 4 of their last 5, only losing to Bayer Leverkusen by 3-1 in the Bundesliga. Liverpool have won 4 of their last 5 home matches, only dropping points in a 1-1 draw with Leicester. But Bayern have won 4 of their last 5 away from home too, scoring 3 goals in each of their victories. The last meeting between these 2 sides in competition was in the UEFA Super Cup back in 2001, where Liverpool were 3-2 winners. Bayern only hold 1 win over Liverpool in the entire time that they've played each other. They haven't played each other many times, but Bayern have only won once, and that was in the Cup Winners' Cup back in 1971, where they won 3-1. That was at Bayern, though. Now, Liverpool obviously have tons of key players. They've got their front 3, they've got the midfield 3 as well, but the man that I'm picking out is obviously going to be Mo Salah. He is Liverpool's top scorer in Europe so far this season. I think he's got 3 goals so far. He's obviously fire in the mid in the league, and I'd expect him to grab a goal or 2 in the game against Bayern, or at least in the tie against Bayern. Robert Lewandowski is the key man for Bayern. He's got 8 goals in the Champions League so far this season, and he'll be hoping to add to that further in the games against Liverpool. So this Tuesday, I think Liverpool are going to win. I think they're going to have the home advantage. Obviously, the crowd are going to be well up for it, and I think they're going to win 2-1. I think Bayern will get the away goal, but Liverpool are going to win at Anfield by 2-1. The other match in the Champions League on Tuesday is Lyon against Barcelona, and this one's live on BT Sport 3, again with an 8 PM kickoff. Now, Lyon won their last match, which was against Guingamp in Ligue 1. They won by 2-1 thanks to Nabil Fekir, who grabbed the winner to solidify Lyon's place in the 3rd position in the league. Barcelona, on the other hand, they narrowly beat Valladolid 1-0 thanks to a first half Lionel Messi penalty to maintain their position at the top of La Liga. On their way to this stage of the competition, Lyon qualified 2nd from their group despite only winning once, a 2-1 away victory over Manchester City. They drew all 5 of their other group games. Barcelona, on the other hand, finished top of their group. They only dropped points against Spurs and Inter, both in 1-1 draws. Lyon have won 4 of their last 5 matches, only losing 1-0 to Nice. Whereas Barcelona have only won 2 of their last 5. They've drawn against Valencia, Real Madrid and Athletic Bilbao in their last 5 matches. Lyon have won 3 of their last 5 at home, including a 2-1 victory over the French champions PSG. Whereas Barcelona have only won 2 of their last 5 away from home, last winning 2-0 at Girona at the end of January. Now, Lyon's key man has got to be Nabil Fekir. He grabbed the winner at the weekend against Guingamp. He's got 3 goals in the Champions League so far this season, and he's got 2 in his last 5 games in all competitions. Barcelona's key man, it's got to be Lionel Messi, obviously one, if not the best player in the world. He has 6 goals in the Champions League so far this season. He's scored 4 in his last 5 in all competitions, and he's probably going to grab at least 1 in the game against Lyon. And I think that he might have a chance to get 2, because I think Barcelona are going to win by 2-1 at Lyon. It seems to be a popular scoreline with my predictions this week, but that's the 2nd game in a row. I'm going for a 2-1 victory. This time it's for the away side, Barcelona. Now on to Wednesday's matches, and we start with Atletico Madrid against Juve. This one is live on BT Sport 3 again with an 8 PM kickoff. Now, Atletico won 1-0 away to Rayo Vallecano in their last match thanks to an Antoine Griezmann second half goal to move them above rivals Real Madrid into second place in La Liga. Juve made easy work of Frosinone at the weekend. They scored 3 goals in a 3-0 victory for the second consecutive match. On their way to the stage of the competition, Atletico qualified second from their group, winning 4 and losing 1 by 4-0 against Dortmund. Juve, on the other hand, qualified top of their group despite losing 2 matches. They lost against Manchester United and Young Boys in their group. Atletico have won 3 of their last 5 games, only losing to Real Betis and Real Madrid in the league. Juve have won 3 of their last 5 also, losing 3-0 against Atalanta in the Coppa Italia and drawing 3-3 with Parma in the league. Atletico have won 3 of their last 5 at home too, scoring 8 and conceding 6, whereas Juve have also won 3 of their last 5 away games, scoring 9 and conceding 6. Atletico Madrid are unbeaten in their last 2 games against Juventus in European competition, winning 1-0 at home and drawing 0-0 at Juve in the group stage back in the 2014-15 season. Now, key man for Atletico Madrid is obviously Antoine Griezmann. He's got 4 Champions League goals so far this season and he's got 3 goals in their last 4 matches. Now, Juve's key man, you would think I might say Cristiano Ronaldo, but I'm actually going to say it's going to be Paulo Dybala. He has 5 Champions League goals so far this season, and he scored the opening goal at the weekend against Frosinone as well. And I don't think there's going to be many goals in this one. I think each side might get 1 though. I'm going with a 1-1 draw between Atletico Madrid and Juve on Wednesday. And the final game of this week's Champions League fixtures and the final game of the first legs of the round of 16 of this year's Champions League is Schalke against the final English team, Manchester City. This one's live on BT Sport 2 once again with an 8 PM kickoff. Now, Schalke are having a pretty terrible time of it at the moment. They drew 0-0 with fellow relegation candidates Freiburg, and they are currently just 2 positions and 8 points outside of the relegation playoff place in the Bundesliga. Manchester City, on the other hand, beat League 2 Newport County by 4-1 in the FA Cup at the weekend after eventually managing to break down Newport's defence in the second half. Schalke qualified second from their Champions League group to get to this stage, only losing 1 against eventual group winners FC Porto by 3-1. Manchester City, on the other hand, qualified top of their group, only losing 2-1 to fellow group qualifiers Lyon, who I mentioned earlier in this video. Schalke have only won 1 of their last 5 games in all competitions, and that was a 4-1 German Cup win against Fortuna at the beginning of February. City, meanwhile, have won 4 of their last 5, scoring 16 and conceding 4, only losing, of course, to Newcastle in the league by 2-1. Schalke have only won 2 of their last 5 at home, but are unbeaten in their last 2 home games since losing to Borussia Mönchengladbach at the start of the month. City, meanwhile, have won 4 of their last 5 away from home, scoring 11 and conceding just 3. Now, these two have played each other 3 times, with City winning the most recent match 2-0 in the UEFA Cup group stage back in 2008. Schalke beat City for the one and only time in a 1-0 Cup Winners' Cup first leg semi-final win in 1970. Now, I struggle to pick a key man for Schalke as they're doing so poorly at the moment, but I have picked one. It's Nabil Bentaleb. He has 1 Champions League goal so far this season and he's got 3 goals in the league. He's the best that they've got, at least that I can see. So if they're going to score, he'd be the one to get a goal. And Manchester City's key man, it could be one of 1,000 people. I've gone for either Gabriel Jesus or Sergio Aguero. I don't know which one's going to play. These pretty much explain themselves. They've got tons of goals in the last few games. Aguero, of course, getting a hat-trick in that 6-0 win over Chelsea. Not sure whether they'll play Aguero or Jesus here. They've got the League Cup final coming up on Sunday. You'd think the Champions League would be their priority, so maybe Aguero gets the nod. But one of those will be their key player. And I'm going to go with a City win on Wednesday. I think they're going to win 2-0. I don't think Schalke are going to score. I think City will be just too much for the German side. So that's it for my predictions for the remaining Champions League first leg games in the round of 16. Let me know your predictions in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think of my predictions as well. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel to get all my content when it comes out. Enjoy the Champions League football this midweek, and I'll see you next time.